Okay, in this video, we're going to try to figure out how we might find the rate of change of a surface in any direction. And that's going to be called the directional derivative. At this point, up to this point, we have found the rate of change of a surface in the direction of x, and we call that the partial derivative of f with respect to x. And we have found it in the direction of y, and we've called that the partial derivative of f with respect to y. Now we want to find the rate of change of our surface in any direction. So to do this, we are going to specify a unit vector in R2 on the xy plane. That's the pink vector that I've drawn in the diagram. And let's let that unit vector have components u1, u2. So there's our unit vector with components u1, u2. And we have a point P in the domain of our surface. And the coordinates of point P are A, B. So I'm going to create a new point in my domain and call that Q. And we're going to assume here that PQ is a vector parallel to U. So we're actually looking at the line between P and Q in the direction of our vector U. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to project point P onto the surface, and we're going to call that point on the surface P prime. The coordinates of P prime are A, B, F of A, B. We will also project Q onto the surface and call that Q prime. And I'm also going to draw a secant line between P prime and Q prime on our surface. So P prime, Q prime is a secant line on our surface. And what we would like to do is we'd like to figure out the limiting value of the slope of that secant line. So what happens, how can we let Q prime approach P prime and define that derivative, the slope of the tangent line at P prime? That's what we're looking for. So let's pay a little bit of attention to our P and Q on the xy plane. So here's point P, whose coordinates are A, B, and let's say that Q is over here. And the coordinates of Q, if we take a look, so here's my blue line between P and Q, and we know that this line is parallel to my vector U. It's produced by vector U. So that means that let me get a different color here. We have a little change in x here and a little change in y here that will give us the coordinates of Q. Now, delta x is going to be how much we move horizontally given our vector U to get to the x coordinate of Q. So I'm going to call that U sub 1 times t, where U sub 1, recall that U1 is the horizontal component of vector U. And my change in y here is going to be U sub 2 times t, and that's going to move me to point Q from P along the vector U. Now, what we really want to do is we want to let Q prime approach P prime, and that means that we want this distance PQ to get as small as possible, the magnitude of PQ to get as small as possible. So let's start trying to derive this directional derivative. We know now that our point P has coordinates A, B, and our point Q will have coordinates A plus U sub 1t, B plus U sub 2t. All right, so our directional derivative, which will denote d with a subscript of u, of our function at our point P, so at AB, will be the limit as the magnitude of PQ goes to 0, right, we want to let that get really tiny so that Q can approach P along that line, and that will make on our surface Q prime approach P prime. And we're going to look at the change in our Z values from Q to P. So we'll do F of A plus U1T, B plus U2T. This is Q prime, and we want to do minus the function value at P, which is going to be F of AB. And to get our slope, we're going to divide that by the change in PQ, or the distance from P to Q, the magnitude of PQ. So that is our working definition of the derivative, thinking about a limiting value of the slope of the secant line between P prime and Q prime. Now, let's work on this a little bit so we can get to our definition of the directional derivative. Our magnitude PQ is actually just the square root of delta x squared plus delta y squared. And that's equal to the square root, well, we know delta x is u1t, and delta y, and that gets squared, is u2t, because those are determined by our vector u. So this is going to be the square root of u sub 1 squared t squared plus u sub 2 squared t squared. We can factor out t squared inside of our root. So we have t squared times u1 squared plus u2 squared. And that's just going to be t times the square root of u sub 1 squared plus u sub 2 squared. Now notice that this u sub square root of u1 squared, u2 squared is the magnitude of u, but we made u a unit vector. And so that magnitude is equal to 1. So here we go. We have our definition. Our directional derivative, so our will be the following. As PQ approaches 0, so does T approach 0. So we're going to replace the magnitude of PQ with T. So we'll write the limit as T approaches 0, since the magnitude of PQ is T, of f of A plus u sub 1t, b plus u sub 2t, our function value at q prime, minus our function value at p prime, divided by the magnitude of PQ, which we know now is t. And this is our definition of the directional derivative. So let's call this directional derivative of along vector u for our function f at the point f of AB, or at P. So that is our working definition for the directional derivative. It will provide us with the instantaneous rate of change of our surface at point P in the direction of vector u. So let's write that down, right? This is the derivative rate of change of our surface f of xy at P prime, which is f of AB, in the direction of our unit vector on the xy plane, which we called u.